try to break something down for you borderline casuals, right? Because I have a friend, a brother who is a legit MMA fan, a legit UFC fan, proper UFC fan, and this person is not buying the CHIMAEV bandwagon. And this person's reason for that is, excuse me, this person's reason for that is that CHAMZAT hasn't fought anybody legit yet. Which is funny because this is the same person who wants to see Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Paddy Pimblett. Like, as if, I don't know, man. That one still doesn't sit right with me. But CHIMAEV is as legit as they get. And the way that you could tell, I'm gonna give you 3 things. And one is the fights that he has already had in the UFC. That shit does matter. Oh, he fought nobody. First off, you don't know what you're talking about. Because if you're in the UFC, you're absolutely a somebody. If you're in the UFC, you're a bad motherfucker, period. Because that is a curated form of the baddest dudes on the fucking planet, period. And that's why you have things like the Contender Series and Dana White looking for a fight and shit like that, because Dana White is only contracting the toughest fucking dudes on the planet. So when you watch CHIMAEV knock out cold a dude who has been practicing martial arts for probably the better half of the past 10 years, that dude who was a black belt, who CHIMAEV's like, what if I choke you out? In the presser, right? He's a killer, bro. On the microphone, he is a fucking killer. He's like, what if I choke you out? He said, then that black belt don't mean shit, bro. He said, I'm gonna fucking choke you out, bro. But he ended up knocking dude out in like fucking 30 seconds. That dude might not have been the most elite striker or whatever, however you want to chalk it up, but that dude has practiced martial arts for the past 10 years. So that means something, all right? Promise you there. Then he goes and literally picks up the Chinese dude, another grown-ass fucking man that weighs 100 and, the fuck is their weight class? Isn't their weight class like 185, dude? Or they fight at, oh shit, I guess it's 170, huh? It is 170, Izzy's 185. Dude, he went and picked up another 170-pound man that's fighting almost literally for his life, picked him up off of his feet like he was a child, brought him to his own corner and slammed him to the fucking mat like the dude is a child and he was a high school wrestler, you know? And the kid's a high school, like, yo, he did it like he was a high school wrestling coach and the kid was a high school wrestler. Anybody who's wrestled in high school, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. I had a bad motherfucker as a assistant wrestling, as a wrestling coach and an assistant wrestling coach, and they both beat our ass, dude. But then you get Jack Hermanson versus CHIMAEV. And now this is the final point that I'm gonna make. And this kind of this takes away all of your arguments right here, what I'm about to say, because this matters. Him wrestling Jack Hermanson, go back and watch that. First and foremost, it was non-stop movement for whatever the allowed time was for them to go at it. I don't know if it was 3-minute rounds. I don't know if it was just one 15-minute round. But CHIMAEV didn't stop moving for that entire period of time. Anybody who hasn't wrestled doesn't have an understanding of just how difficult that is. It's not the same thing as jiu-jitsu. Wrestling's actually extremely different from jiu-jitsu. And the amount of energy that you project in a wrestling match as opposed to a jiu-jitsu match is completely different. And In jiu-jitsu, there are specific positions oriented solely for giving you the ability to catch your breath, giving you the ability to conserve energy. There is none of that in wrestling. There is none of that in wrestling. And to watch him do what he did to Jack Hermanson, the way that he did it, in such a dominant form, and in such a gritty manner, of where it's just, he didn't stop moving. He chased every takedown. He pursued every moment to expose Jack Hermanson to a high percentage. You know, he went 100% of the time. The dude is a savage. The dude is a stud. And Ben Askren is not the best example, but he's a good example. And I'll give you a better example after this of just how dominant wrestling actually is in this sport. Ben Askren's a great example. You take the Robbie Lawler fight, right? Robbie Lawler ran a train through Ben Askren's face. That's why nobody's buying that Jake Paul knocked him out in fucking 30 seconds, because Robbie Lawler ran a train through his face. Ben Askren ate it like a wrestler does. Bit down on his mouthpiece through and endured that short period of time in the fight. Bit down on his mouthpiece, came back and put a fucking a neck crank like no other on Robbie Lawler, and due to the referee's miscalculation or whatever, Robbie Lawler lost the fight. That's a wrestler, bro. Ben Askren didn't throw one punch in that fight, dude. Then you take a better example, Colby Covington. Dude, that's a Division I stud wrestler, okay? And to see how he beat the shit out of Robbie Lawler for 15 minutes. 98% because of his wrestling caliber, you know. So, and then you know, this, I'll end it with this, is somebody tried to say there's no good. I think my buddy relayed Daniel Cormier saying that there's no good wrestlers in Sweden. No good wrestlers come out of Sweden. Okay, bro. We're not talking about that, dude. We're talking about this dude manhandling Jack Hermanson. We're talking about this dude manhandling the Chinese dude who actually fucking beat the shit out of his last 3 opponents. You know, he's no slouch. And then the dude before that, who's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, who Khamzat knocked out in fucking 10 seconds. Like, I'm telling you, Khamzat is a force to be reckoned with. He's dirty on the microphone. He's even dirtier in the cage. He's talking to Dana White throughout the fights. He's picking up men and fucking putting them where he wants to. Sure, he might not his chin hasn't been tested to the degree that some of us would like to see, the way that Paddy Pimblett's chin got tested in his debut fight. But I'm telling you right now, man, when you're talking about a wrestler, you're talking about a different caliber of human being. Kamaru Usman, who Dana White claims is the pound for pound greatest fighter in the world right now, is a Division II collegiate wrestler, okay? And he's a fucking savage, bro. And, you know, only until recently, Gilbert Burns, Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington, has Usman really been exploring his fucking hand game, which is fucking crazy too. You know, I'm sitting on the sidelines, I'm like, bro, y'all, Gilbert Burns, you're getting touched by that jab, you pussy. I'm, you know, because I'm an ignorant motherfucker sometimes, like y'all. I'm a sucker sometimes. But, yo, that jab is fucking crazy. And I didn't like how they hyped it up either. You know, Trevor Whitman's like, Kamaru, your jab is incredible. DC's like, that jab. Everybody in the, what do you call that? Like the commentaries and shit, the commentators, they're all like, the jab, the jab. They made it like a thing, but guess what? It's legit a thing. And so is his wrestling pedigree that allowed him to become a champion, that wrestler's mentality. He'll tell you first and foremost that wrestling mentality carries you through fucking life. all right? And Khamzat Chimaev has that shit. So look, man, the hype is real. Whoever his next fight is, it's gonna be a wild one, and he's probably gonna dominate, you know. So that's that.